Hello, hello. I am Jill Richmond. It is such an honor to be able to share with you about how my trip to Washington, D.C. went. Oh my goodness. It is just now August the 3rd. So I apologize, y'all, for the heavy delay. I got back on Saturday, June 15th. And since being back from DC, I have been running 100 miles per hour after my kids, my husband, my duties as an EA. So I just picked back up with some projects. So I've been full with capacity there. I've been serving in the Kingdom Kids Ministry on some Sundays at the church where I fellowship. I've just recently joined two new boards, so we'll get into that some. So I just want to let you all know that I did not forget to make this video. The time has come. Thank you all so much for asking about how my trip went. Thank you all for your kindness, your donations, your prayers, all that good stuff. So we're going to get into this, and hopefully you can hang with me. You can stick with me till the very end because I have some really good news that you're going to hear in this presentation. Awesome. All right. So, for those of you who don't know me, again, my name is Jill Richmond. My maiden last name is Ricks. So, for those of you who may know me from High Point, that is my hometown. I now reside in Fuquay Arena with my family, and we love it here. It's great to be in the suburbs and it's safe. I love being there. But most of you all know I am the first, okay? My first husband is Jesus Christ. I do have my earthly husband, Dre Richmond, who I am faithfully married to, and we share three children together, 5-year-old daughter, 3-year-old son going on 4, and 2-year-old son going on 3. So by December, 543, can you say it with me? Okay. And so doing that, and then I have my homemaking that I'm doing, housekeeping, of course, and I'm serving still as a good friend. And also, I am still a top notch executive assistant. Okay. So contact me if you want to talk about some of those things that I have going on. I would love to chat. Now, take a look at here. I know some of you have asked me, Jill, what's the big deal? Okay. What is it about this homeschooling thing you want to do, this microschooling thing that you want to do? Well, let me tell you all right now, I have had way too many confirmations. Okay. Since becoming a mother in 2019 up until now, I've had way too many too many confirmations from God telling me that it is my time to rise up to the call. And I say that in a way of me coming into being an edupreneur. Okay. So I'm coming into this educational space as an entrepreneur. Okay. And that's to get into the landscape of micro schools, the non traditional setting, alternative education. So I'm just saying those terms so you can follow along with ease because you're going to start hearing more about these type of things because that's just the direction that our nation is going. That's the direction that the state of North Carolina is going. There happens to be a North Carolina Opportunity Scholarship that is awarded to people who qualify based on their income levels. And so you can look the information up online. You will see that learners can earn up to, I think, $7,000. Don't quote me there, but I believe $7,000 each academic year. And that's for them to choose the school of their choice. Now, the school that I'm talking about is only non public schools. So for those schools that consider themselves to be private schools, private institutions, those will be listed on North Carolina. And so, you all, I took a look at that list, knowing that my oldest is now 5. I was like, well, we could take a look at some kindergarten programs. Huh, why not? And so, my family and I, we were at the park one day. And by the way, on that right side, that is the picture of my oldest. Isn't she just so cute there? I know. And so, thank you so much. And so, we were at the park one day. It had to be perhaps last winter of 2023 or earlier this year in 2024. So definitely before the springtime, but we were all at the park and we met someone. We met someone, and it turns out that he was the head of school at a private institution, a Christian based academy. And so, and so, um, when we met him, he invited us to have a tour at the school. And so was really excited about that. We did the tour. However, once we got done, we were impressed with the entire tour. All of our questions were answered. But guess what, you all? There was no space. for the upcoming academic year. So knowing that information, what does that tell what does that tell me? That tells me that we need more schools like this. Oh, we need more schools like this. So, this image here on the left, that's nothing but the kids running there. They're enjoying their ice cream. I took them, myself and another friend, so that's her daughter up there at the front. But we took them to Farm Day, which is at the North Carolina State University campus, and we just enjoyed a full day of fun, the petting zoo, learning about different things about the different farm animals, and of course, they send you home with some howling cow. That ice cream is absolutely delicious. Now, up top, we have this Wonder Mom. Um, I've been associated to being that woman here and there, with my crew, my three club. So on the bottom, I'm holding a box. Back in 2022, I was inspired to think differently about how I wanted to educate my kids. So I had already been inspired by my friend Ariana, who I met back in 2018. Before becoming a mother in 2019, Ariana and I had discussions about homeschooling. And so I was already developing a shifting in my mindset that was different than what I was used to since I did do the public school route from like since kindergarten from for my own life. So K through 12, I did the entire public school system and that had its highs and lows. Okay. I'm gonna tell you that much. Okay. So and there is my son. We are at the gym. This is one of those homeschooling hours. So homeschooling families can come in the gym. That's a local resource that we have in our community. And here's another local resource that we have in our community. As you can see, my daughter there playing freely, no expense to us. And that's me there in the outdoors out in the woods, let's say. So I did a hiking experience. I have a friend who offers hiking, and then here at home, we're able to work on my daughter's handwriting skills, penmanship and all that good stuff. Okay, now this vaccination schedule, I'm not going to go too deep into it, but it's one of my reasons to why I would like to have a free choice of how I like to go about health. And as you can see, with all the colors, that covers all of the immunizations that children get within their first year of, well, excuse me, not their first year of life, but first 6 years of life. So let me just zoom in, first 6 years of life. And so just showing you that as a reference. My children have been quite well. I think we stopped somewhere in this mark with my first oldest two. With my youngest, he has not had any of those, and he is wonderful, just fine. Alrighty. So let's keep it going. Oh, yes, developing your greatness within. Oh, my goodness. Reading a book like that has really helped to transform and renew my mind to think differently about life altogether. So I would definitely recommend that book. Is by the wonderful Tracy Ricks, who happens to be my aunt. And so she lives in the Atlanta, Georgia area where she does ministry, she does mentoring, all that good stuff. Check her out on Facebook. You would definitely want to connect with her and with some of the missions that she's leading. Now, this conference here took place earlier this year in 2024, so it was in January. This is Reverend John Awanucha. Awanucha, forgive me, sir, if I'm mispronouncing your name, but he is a phenomenal man for sure. And I'm just very thankful for how he goes about doing his lectures and educating people. He also has spoken up about some of the books that were being offered to children in their school libraries in the Wake County public school system, and not just there, but all across our nation. So he is a local, so he is in the Raleigh area, and so is his father-in-law, who I admire, Bishop Wooden. Very thankful for real men of God who like they break it down. They don't they don't say their sermons and stuff in a complex way. So definitely take some time to look up the Alice Bailey's 10-point plan. You will see what I'm talking about. And I'm just saying, hey, I'm an American and there are Christian values that America has that is meant to do America very well. However, I know that it is a melting pot nation, not to say that certain cultures shouldn't be valued. I just think when it comes to morals and standards that there ought to those ought to be honored still in a healthy way for the most common good of the people. All right, so let's take it back for a moment. So here's a history moment. I'm going to start with the oldest. So at the top left, that is my great grandmother and my great grandfather. And then to the right there, that man holding that repent sign, like literally on a highway. That is my bold late granddaddy, my grandpa, my pawpaw. And so he was a bishop and he was one of a kind. He was very bold, and I love that about him. I think that some of that boldness trickled down to me. And so, yeah, those are his parents up at the top. So that is my mother's, that's my mom's daddy. Okay. And then on the far left side, that younger picture there, that is my mother, Lila Devon Ricks. She is no longer with us in the natural, but she was one of a kind. She worked at a seafood restaurant. She was also known to work with kids, like serving kids in her community. And she also played the piano, played the organ for a local ministry, Faith, Love Faith and Hope Ministries in High Point. And prior to her passing away when I was 13, I just remember her being so sweet, so kind, so patient. She never raised her voice at me. So I don't even know how she accomplished that, but what an amazing mother that I had. And she was a single mom. But I just want to say I love my dad. He's amazing. They were just not married. So to the right of my mom's picture is Mary Little. That is my biological grandmother and the first wife of my grandfather. And so turns out that my grandmother attended Winston-Salem State University, where she got her bachelor's degree, and she went on to have a career in education. Oh my gosh, how life changing is that, right? And I just discovered this information less than 3 years ago. So imagine what that did to my heart and to my mind. All right, good stuff. So down here at the bottom right, you see a picture of me wearing a college bound shirt. That was while I was in college. I believe it was my junior year. I volunteered at Bug Elementary in Raleigh, North Carolina, and I remember all the great excitement that those kids had. Wow, wow, wow. However, it was so many kids in that multi-purpose room. I believe it was like a gymnasium, a theater, and it was a cafeteria. So I remember how excited those kids were. But I was like, oh my gosh, if one of these kids go missing, I'm just going to feel like horrible. And I just remember the feeling of just feeling like, oh my gosh, so much demanded here because there's so many kids. And how do I know that every kid is feeling loved, feeling cared about, feeling valued? Because I was once that kid. Okay. So I'll leave that there. And then here in this YouTube video clip, so back in 2022 is where I felt led to step out on faith to launch a online preschool. And so God had already given me the name of the school, Cerboli Academy, and I desired to let people know, here's what I'm doing. I even posted events on Eventbrite to get some traction going, but nothing picked up. And I was like, you know what? That is okay. God has greater plans for me. And so I remained persistent and consistent with recording videos. And guess who loved it? My very own children. That's who loved it. And so they got all the good, best benefits of everything. So as you can see there, there's some painting going on. I kept them involved with painting, with activities. Now, let's fast forward to how I got here. I'm just going to pause right here for a moment. So 2020, I started working remotely. No, excuse me. Let's rewind back just a little bit more, okay? So I became a mom in 2019. That's when I had the moment of, you know what? I do not want to return back to a 9 to 5 job. I want to be home with my child for her first year. And that's what I did. God opened up the opportunity for me to be able to be home with her. And let's go back to that beautiful face, okay? Where's she at? There she is. So the bottom right, that little baby, I thought about what's best for her, right? She was my first and only child at that time. And so I stayed home. God opened up the opportunity for me to serve as a remote executive assistant. And I did that. And I am still doing that. It's going on well, it's actually 4 years now that I've been doing that. So, wow, when we step out on faith like that, like you will be amazed. Like, yes. And it doesn't have to be big faith, it doesn't have to be little faith. Just make it happen. So, how did I get here, right? How did I get to VelaCon, to the whole thought process of even wanting to be at VelaCon? And so, my dear friend Ariana, I remember she sent me a video. It was from My Father's World, and it spoke about rescuing the children. It said, rescue our children. I watched that video clip, and it mentioned a funder or a grant provider called Vela. I remember that. So, first dot connected there. Okay. And then the second thing was Microschool. Microschool. You got it. So, that was my first time hearing the word microschool. I had never heard of it before. However, when you think about the word microschool, break it down. Micro. Micro means small. It can also mean tiny. And what about school? An educational learning space or educational environment. So it's a small learning environment. It's a small educational space, whether it's outdoors or it's indoors. Okay, whether it's virtual or in person. Like there's so many cool options, so many unique, diverse micro schools. So much to appreciate. And to obtain the freedom that we have in North America, the United States of America, is a absolute blessing. It's a good thing. It's definitely a good thing. So, how did I come to know about VelaCon? Let's get to that. Well, I had the burning passion within me, I believe, last winter in 2023. So I went searching on Google and I looked up micro schools in North Carolina. I came across two people and I reached out to both people, and one had not launched yet. Okay. She had the vision, she had the website, but she had not officially launched yet because of not securing a space yet. But the day that I called her is when she secured a space in the state of North Carolina. Ain't that something? Okay. So I received that as like confirmation, like, okay, everything that I'm doing is right on target. And so pretty much um, I was able to speak with the other person who I found who happened to be the founder of Verbrella Microschool. And I was like, okay, Verbrella Microschool, Burlington, North Carolina. Okay. And so I asked her for her time. She gave me her time. Her and I talked and just clicked. And then she told me about VelaCon. And I was like, oh my goodness, wait a minute. You're going to be a speaker at VelaCon? What is this? And so next thing you know, I believe it was 2 months away, maybe 1 to 2 months away. And I said, I need to be there. I need to be there. And so I put together this flyer. I started sharing with friends, family, coworkers, colleagues, and I made it available on social media and just started asking people for their help, for their support, because at this time I was not producing as much income as I was in the previous year due to not having any current projects. So that's one of the things that I'm sure other contractors out there can attest to. Like, yeah, you know what it's like to not have no project for like several months or several weeks. Like, it really does throw off the numbers. And so to have had people to respond the way that they did, you see this? Okay, I know that's just likes and comments and shares, but I'm talking about payment has been made. Okay. So payment was made. I had my registration, which I believe was $200 or maybe it was $400. I believe it was $200, 199. And so I had to go back to the receipt, but it was paid within 48 hours, y'all. Praise be to God. And then on top of that, I started receiving more school supplies. So shelves, dry erase boards, books, all that good stuff. I started receiving it. And wow, wow, wow. So then I was like, okay, I need to write out some reasons. Like I had already been writing out the vision and everything and fleshing that out. Mm-mm. And so I wrote out 37 reasons to why I need to launch this micro school. And I'm just going to read a few. I want to obey God. The Christians need the option. The world, the lost unbelievers need it. Flexibility for working families, especially those with remote jobs. Smaller class sizes, schoolhouse feel, learn from each other. We can have unlimited field trips. Number 8, because we can. Support parents. Okay. Number 9, support parents who want more family. Number 10, expose learners to real life skills and opportunities. Number 11, it can be profitable, good for the economy. Number 12, the Opportunity Scholarship and other funding exists. Number 13, restoration for the family, communities. Number 14, I'm equipped. I know helpers. Number 15, children with all needs need this. Number 16, impact socialization among people. 17, we can serve the community together, such as soup kitchens, missions, feed the poor, training. Number 18, leave a legacy for families and future generations. Number 19, personalize an individual approach for learners. Number 20, cultivate a love for learning. Number 21, traditional public schools can't be trusted. They failed America enough. Number 22, virtual learning available. 23, we can decide on curriculum. 24, we can support families who need more income and other resources. Okay. And I'll just read these last few. 25, support towards entrepreneurial interests. 26, regain biblical fellowship. 27, partnerships are available. 28, children need to be protected physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. 29, knowing Jesus is a necessity. And I did quote Matthew chapter 7, verses 21 to 23. We'll read that later. Um, Actually, we'll read it now. Let me load that up real quick. Anybody who knows me knows that I will go to the word in a quick second. In a good way, in a good way. All right, so verse 21. Not everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord, will enter into heaven's kingdom. It is only those who persist in doing the will of my heavenly Father. On the day of judgment, many will say to me, Lord, Lord, don't you remember us? Didn't we prophesy in your name? Didn't we cast out demons and do your do many miracles in your name? But I will have to say to them, go away from me, you lawless rebels. I've never been joined to you. What a sad thing. What a sad thing. That's why knowing Jesus is a necessity. Number 30, more hands-on learning. 31, supportive towards the doers, the athletes, public servants, etc. Number 32, no homework. Number 33, encourage stronger leaders, future leaders. Number 34, we can be resourceful collaborators with homeschooling families. They need support too. Number 35, great for families who choose public school to see something different and functional. Number 36, establish character, identity in Jesus Christ. Obtain fruit of the Holy Spirit, as according to Galatians. Okay. Number 37, partnership between education and family. So that's just 37. I have more, but like I just wanted to write it out like in the moment of receiving blessings. All right, so I got on the road. I got fully funded within 2 weeks, and I got myself on that road that day on June 13th. It was such a beautiful day. I had such an awesome ride. I was able to drive my hatchback, which I own. Both of my vehicles I own, and they're paid off because God opened up that door for us to be able to pay off our vehicles. And they're not very new or anything. They're used vehicles. So you just got to make it happen, sacrifice now so that you can gain and live the life that you want to live later. It's just for a short while. So that way you can have that long term gain. All right. So made it to DC and just want you to know prior to me arriving to DC, I was already in prayer. I already had prayer with some other people and I understood the mission field, like the battleground field of this place being our nation's capital. And it's so important to me to make note of that and to share that because I mean, there's some things that happened just recently at a place where I had drove while I was there. So I'm sure some of you may have saw the protesting, the chaotic protesting that happened at the Union Station, and it was like vandalism and all that, and burning of the U.S. of the American flag. Like that is just absolutely ridiculous and crazy. So I just want to show you this picture to the left of the little bird, Matthew chapter 6, verse 26. And that passage just highlights how God cares so much. I'm just paraphrasing how God just cares so much about the birds that he feeds them. So, how much more do you think he cares about you? Just think about that. And then on the right side, I have a picture here where it says Palmer. Shout out to my Uncle Derek, who is an educator. So, to see his last name there, my dad's brother, to see his last name there was a blessing. It was like a confirmation moment for me. All right, so I'm riding around Union Station, and at this time, I'm hoping to meet up with Dominique, who I was really looking forward to seeing upon my arrival in Washington, D.C., because I already knew that she was one of the main reasons why I was there, because she's inspired me to think that I too can be a micro school leader. I can launch a micro school in the state of North Carolina. So she's really been helping to coach me up, not just then, but even now. And so here's Washington, D.C., the beautiful streets. And up above, it looks like there's an important building. I'm not really sure which building that is, but hope you like my pictures. All right, so Capitol Building, as we all know, most of us know that the Congress has their meetings in there. So House of Senate and excuse me, House of Representatives and Senate members, they have their meetings in there. So that's where laws get passed, laws get challenged. A whole bunch of different things, right? Well, bills get passed, bills get challenged. The different things are brought to the table. I thought this picture was beautiful. God's beauty again. Now, this does happen to be the area of Union Station. I'm pretty sure I have another picture where it shows like the bell that was vandalized recently, being that it is August 3rd. And I believe this was the U.S. Postal Building. Oh, so National Postal Museum. The kids and I actually love our mail lady, Miss Joy. She delivers our mail in our neighborhood. She is a blessing to us. So got excited to see the postal building. Oh, here is where it's going on. I think it was going on 6 or 7 in the evening on a Friday. And as you can see, this trolley is getting towed. Hope as well. And here's where I'm on the bridge. I had already been on this bridge prior to getting to Union Station. Just wanted to show some views of me being on this chaotic bridge, okay? Thank God I'm not afraid of bridges and being over water like this. I know some people are, but my hope is that you don't be afraid of things like this, okay? And you can see the monument there. Hmm. Okay, Union Station to the left. Union Station to the left, and then there's the Capitol here, Capitol building. And then I always find it funny to see signs like, whew, reading is fundamental, okay? Or else you can be very confused if you're not reading these signs correctly. All right, so here's where the venue was held for the conference for VelaCon. We had the awesome, luxurious experience at the Conrad, which happens to be a five-star hotel in Washington, D.C. The Conrad was absolutely amazing. The hospitality that was there, I did not stay there overnight. I had a wonderful Airbnb. However, my daytime events and my late afternoon events were absolutely amazing. The food was decent, could have been a little bit better for me, but I am very grateful to have had the delicious meals that were prepared, the wonderful options of the grab and go items. I'll say that for sure. And so on the first night there, we had the awesome opportunity. And let me just tell you real quick, to the right, that's Dominique. So Dominique Burgess, she is the founder of Burbella Microschool, also known as the parent company happens to be Burbella Learning Academy Incorporated. And so she is the founder. She is the one who's been making it happen, being a trailblazer in the state of North Carolina. And so that is my dear friend. And so just want to show you on the left here, the marble floors. And then we went up to, I believe, fifth floor. Well, we went up to the rooftop to have our networking social. And look at this view, you all. I'm telling you, it was absolutely beautiful. I met two ladies here who both operate micro schools, who are doing wonderful, powerful things in the micro school space, who look like me, which is a blessing. And to the right, I had this delicious Caesar chicken salad. I think it was 30 bucks, maybe 15 to 30 bucks. I don't really remember, but I was like, wow, what a salad. It was actually delicious, like very delicious. And my Italian water, I love Italian things, anything that's Italian. Um, and so on the rooftop, that's just me getting my pictures in because mama is out of the house, okay? Lots of comments on my color, the color scheme that I was wearing there, the pink and orange. All right, and here's me on day two. Day two, so leaving my Airbnb, headed to my first session. Well, heading to the all of the sessions. Day two was packed, okay? And so here's my Airbnb. Here's my Airbnb here. Isn't it beautiful? And so the family allowed me to rent out their basement that was fully renovated. So they have a full kitchen in there and they had one bedroom option, a full bath. Well, no, excuse me, not a full bath, but a bathroom with a stand up shower. And they had a study room all down there. Like it was just absolutely amazing. And so getting started with the sessions, this is a 14-year-old girl who was absolutely phenomenal. She was truly inspired by her parents to become an entrepreneur, but also to think differently about education. And so she's created some sort of app. I think it was pronounced Equil. I have to go back and look at my agenda and see, but absolutely phenomenal. And the two ladies who I'm sitting behind there, one on the left, Jacqueline, she is phenomenal. And forgive me if it's Jacqueline or Jacqueline. Forgive me, but you are a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful woman, and just so excited to be alongside her in this microschooling space. She's already an educator, and then to the right, educator as well, also author of a book, and you'll see that picture in just a moment. Her name is Tanya. Okay. So here's one of the sessions helping college students navigate, after coming out the microschooling space. Down below, reimagining time, space, and labor to keep costs low. Wonderful sessions. I mean, wow, even just with trying to connect with everybody throughout the day was a little bit much for
DC is
me.
absolutely beautiful. I'm so excited to see like all the
You're all
different
good.
components of it regarding history, all that good stuff. That is
And so that was the book. So here's the
Reading
dinner reception. We had a cocktail
Contemporary
hour and the
reading
dinner reception.
contemporary reading
Such a beautiful environment.
contemporary reading
And so I was absolutely worn out. However, the night did not end early. My goodness, I think I got back to my Airbnb about midnight. And so even with having a networking opportunity with some other people who really do favor my skin tone, it's just interesting to hear them speak about their experiences, to speak about future goals, future plans. My lady down here, who was very friendly with me at the VelaCon conference, she was photobombing my picture, but I didn't mind it. I didn't mind it at all. So here's me finally about to get some rest on day two. And here's day three. So as you can see, the third person to the right, that's Dominique. She was one of the speakers for this particular panel. Wonderful, wonderful session. She actually implemented her microschool into a mall space. So she pretty much acquired the Foot Locker store and converted it into a learning space for the learners. And it's just really wonderful. You can learn more about her story. I'm sure it's on different platforms, especially with the news. She's done an interview there. So many great things that I can say about Dominique. There's the sponsors. There's Arrow, Ed Choice, Omelia, Stand Together, State Policy Network, Yes Every Kid Foundation. So top-notch sponsors for that event. And there is the leader of Vela. Her name is, I believe, Meredith. Oh my goodness, Lord, I can't really recall some people's names. I need to get the agenda in front of me again. But it's just because I don't have relationships with these people. It's just kind of going off the fly here. Stuff. So does anybody know who this guy is in the middle? Mr. Sean Alexander. So, Mr. Sean Alexander, he is married to the beautiful Valerie. They share 12 living children together and they homeschool in the state of Virginia. And so, he is not only a parent, a father, a husband, but he is also the former running back for the Seattle Seahawks, known to also be an NFL MVP. So, wow, so much success, so much light in his life that he has experienced. He gives glory to God. He claims to be a Christian. He plans to open up an academy in the state of Virginia. So that's really exciting to learn about a little bit later. And so I hope that he and I will be able to connect again in the future. He was really down to earth, really authentic, very humble and transparent. So really great hearing his story, really great hearing his thoughts about alternative education. And so to the right, um, in the middle, my photo bomber again. I don't remember her name. Lord forgive me. But to the left in the black, that is my dear friend, my one of my favorite podcasters. Her name is Mackenzie. Mackenzie, Mackenzie. She has a podcast called Teacher Let Your Light Shine. And I found her podcast months before coming to VelaCon. And when I saw her email, because I'm on her emailing list, when I saw her email about coming to VelaCon, I was like, wait a minute, I got to send a message. So I sent her a message and was like, oh, we should definitely meet. Like, that was my mindset. And she was all in for it. So we got our picture, we exchanged contact information, and maybe we will see and chat with each other again very soon. Dr. Tooley, he was giving some really good information, sharing some really good information about the areas that are considered third world countries and how those students participate in private school experiences and what that looks like over there overseas. And so it's just very interesting to learn about that, given his experiences of traveling overseas. I don't have that experience just yet. I've only been here in America. So it was really great hearing him speak with his British accent. All right. And then on the final day, of course, as we're wrapping it up, we ended with a team photo. Many people had already gone home. There were over 300, according to Vela, from what they shared with me in the email, there were over 330 attendees at this conference, 45 states represented out of the 50 states that we have in the United States of America. That is a really big deal. And on top of that, 3 countries were represented at this VelaCon experience. And so for this to have been the very first VelaCon, as you can see me there, I'm smiling. I'm on the front row to the left in yellow, right beside another amazing person who I'm forgetting people's names at the moment, but it's totally fine. But yeah, everyone who I met, it's just the synergy that we had at this conference. And to be at a 5-star hotel, to have a 5-star experience was absolutely phenomenal. It was absolutely phenomenal. And so, yes,
Here's one of my friends.
right. Oh, let me share this. So right before leaving Washington, D.C., I did take a moment to just have to express gratitude and to think about my future when it comes to officially launching my micro school, Bully Academy. And so, um, thankfully, Miss Dominique wanted to ride back with me to North Carolina. So I had a buddy to keep me entertained, but also to keep me just still on that high of just enjoying the experience that I had with VelaCon. And so you'll see shortly that after dropping off Miss Dominique at her home, I was able to drive back to Raleigh. And so on my way to Raleigh, I was able to stop by and see her micro school
Here's
for
where my friend's
myself.
microschool is at. I'm gonna go.
So it's inside the mall here. And the cool thing is, this is two different spaces. They're right beside each other. So there's two different spaces. And I just want you to think for a moment how these children are so privileged. They are so blessed to be in a space like this because it is in a mall. And there's a lot of cool opportunities of exposure that the children can receive because there's other businesses present. There are other things happening that can influence their learning, that can impact the sustainability of a school like this. And so, just a great place, just a great place. And there is an online micro school that Bergrella offers. So, if you want any details on that, please let me know. And also let me know if you want any information on how you can donate to this awesome micro school. There's a 30 for 30 campaign happening right now. So if you want to get in on that and help us raise the goal, please do contact me. Now, when I got back to my home on Saturday, June 15th, that was just 4 days before my beloved husband turned 30. So we celebrated his 30th birthday at a local restaurant. Thankfully, all the guests who came, they had already donated towards supplying towards food. We got the venue space for free and had a wonderful, beautiful time together. So, since I've been back home, I have been on the move. As you can see, there's a stroller there. I keep it moving, okay? And so, what now? Well, I've got great news for you. I am a newly appointed board member of Umbrella Learning Academy Incorporated. And so I am serving as board secretary. It is an absolute honor. It is an absolute enjoyment as we're preparing for the new academic year, supporting these students, supporting their needs, supporting their interests. There's so many great things happening that I am currently a part of. And I didn't mention this on this slide here, but I am also a board chair of Pharaoh's Daughter, which is helping incarcerated pregnant women to continue to be able to keep their children. So while they're going through their sentencing, they have a safe place to keep their child, but also to maintain the bonding so their child can come visit them. They can see their baby, they can hold their baby, different things like that because it's just, so sad to see or to learn about someone's child, not being in their lives or not having good experiences. So if you look at the if you look at the common denominator, my heart is absolutely for the children. And that's where I believe God wants me right now in this season, not just with my own children, but with the children all over the world, but most importantly, within my reach. Okay, in a good way, in a good way. And so I'm also a part of a cohort. So for the past 12 weeks, I've been, well, excuse me, not the past 12 weeks, but for the past 4 or 5 weeks or so, well, 4 to 6 weeks. So for the past 4 to 6 weeks, I've been a part of a 12-week cohort that is being hosted and led by Dominique Burgess, who I mentioned to you before. She's the founder of Urbella Learning Academy Incorporated. And myself and about 5 to 10 other individuals are either starting up micro schools or we're leveling up our micro schools. So, what an awesome experience to learn the ins and outs of knowing like about the legal requirements to operate or to own a micro school in the state of North Carolina. What's the vision about? What's the mission about? How do we go about financial sustainability? So it's all these different components. If you ever want any information on that, I can definitely connect you to Miss Dominique. It would be my pleasure. And so also what is happening now is that I am still praying, I am still serving, I am still staying healthy, and I'm doing all of this while going through this journey of overflow. So if you have an interest to connect with me, let's do that. And I have my email address here, eajillrichmond@gmail.com. Again, that's E as in executive, A as in assistant, Jill Richmond, like Richmond, Virginia, @gmail.com. Feel free to email me and we can connect from there. And I just want to say a very special thank you to all of you all who have contributed, not just financially, but also with words of encouragement, knowing that you have prayed, knowing that you have inspired me via text, via phone, in person with conversations. I am just beyond so grateful. I'm so grateful and so thankful for you all. And I cherish every dollar. I cherish every bit of effort in all that you've wanted to support me with. And so I just wanted to let you know that I am beyond grateful for your giving and for your demonstration of faith. I sincerely mean that with all my heart. And I truly do believe that everything that you've sown into my life, that it will be multiplied, it will prosper, and you better believe that the fruit is going to come forth and that you'll get to eat of that fruit as well. All right, so here's the special news right here. Just going to share with you a little bit of the vision that I have for my micro school. And so I do vision a very comfortable space. If you look to the left, there's a picture there. There's couches, rugs, there's the books table, different things like that. One moment, please. And so if you see there to the left, there is a space where I vision it's a pretty cool architectural look. I think the design is clean, it's easy, it's functional. And so I really like that space. And then you'll see the tower garden there where there's lettuce, herbs growing, different things like that. We can create salads together. And to the right, you'll see a parent and a younger child, like a little baby. So for those parents who may need support with watching their younger children while the older children are being taught, for 2 hours, 3 hours a day, like let's do it. Let's have a space for you to come on site with where we're doing the micro school. That's what I'm visioning right now. And of course, I would love to have an outdoor play space where we have access to. It doesn't have to be one that I own, but maybe one that we use on a consistent basis, maybe in different states, excuse me, not different states, but different cities, different areas. So I really do have a desire to give children as much exposure as possible. I want children to be curious learners, to love learning. That's really my heartbeat in wanting to educate other people's kids, but also to make sure that parents have a say in what they want their child to be learning about and how they want their child to be learning. Let's collaborate together and and allow your child to have an individualized experience that caters best to their needs and that complements their skills the best. So, very excited to have shown you some of my vision and just want to mention this: I am not limited, neither are you. Thankfully, when it comes to a non traditional space, we have so much creativity that can happen. We have so many great things that can take place with having a micro school. So it would be classified as a private school, but that doesn't mean that it'll be limited. And I just want to mention this. I don't think I mentioned this yet, but maybe I did in the beginning. There is a North Carolina Opportunity Scholarship that exists in the state of North Carolina. And so it does offer, I do believe, please don't quote me, but I do believe, go do your research online. I do believe that it offers up to $7,000 per learner. And so, with those funds, you can have the opportunity to select a school of your choice, a non public school of your choice. And perhaps that could be my school, Sir Bowley Academy. So, just keep that in mind. You don't have to pay for it. It could already be fully funded, the same way that this trip to Washington, D.C. was fully funded. So, just let me know what thoughts you have, what questions you have. If you want to share any comments, if you want to continue staying connected, let's chat. Thank you so much. I hope all continues to go well with you all. Goodbye.